This is Matt Jarbo. We're back with Zurvivalist, and we have Chris from Los Angeles. Chris, how you doing today?
Doing good. How's it going?
It's going pretty well. So, all right, let's get down to brass tacks. Let's ask the question of the hour, so to speak, is how would you survive a zombie outbreak, Chris?
Well, I live in I live in the heart of Los Angeles, so right away I know a lot of people. They say, "Oh, zombie outbreak! I'm going to head for the hills or head for the mountains or this, that, and the third." The whole thing is isolation. That's not going to be so easy for me. So I think if you live in the city, the best chance you have is to embrace the urban environment and do what you can with it.
Understandable.
Which is, I don't think I think people underestimate just how much fucking fun the zombie apocalypse would actually be. You want to hide out for a few days to let things die down, but I figure most people, and any average person, if something were to go catastrophically wrong, you could probably make it 2 or 3 days without actually leaving your apartment, just because most people, maybe not like college students, but most people have groceries and things like that in their house.
Most college students and or filmmakers would be like, "Oh, I'm out of pizza, crap."
Right. No, I have to live on top ramen for a whole extra day.
Ah, damn it. But yeah, no, I agree with you. You could definitely stay inside for a few days and let like the general masses kind of kill themselves off.
Yeah, because I think the key is to not give in to the panic, especially if you live in like in Los Angeles. Most of the apartment buildings here are like 5 stories, 8 stories, like these ridiculous sized buildings that are like cities unto themselves.
Well, and they're all designed.
The key is the key is if you live high up enough, just stay inside and don't panic and run out into the streets as soon as you hear about something going wrong.
What about when you run out of supplies? Like when you actually have to step outside and face the apocalypse, like straight on.
Well, see, that's when living in the city comes in handy, because I know where I live. I'm in walking distance of 4 grocery stores, and that is that's purely a function of Los Angeles being so densely populated. I don't know about going to like a Trader Joe's or anything, because like all that organic food, there's no preservatives, so it'll probably go pretty foul pretty fast.
Well, and probably all the hipsters would have gotten to it first.
Yeah, that's true. That too. And then, so, I'd recommend, find a place what you want to do is you want to have sort of a base that you can keep going back and forth to. You don't want to just hold up in one spot and then drain it dry, then move on to the next spot, because that's how people get killed, is constantly migrating to unfamiliar places.
Understandable.
So, you find the nearest place, hopefully. If you're in a city, I doubt that you live more than a mile or 2 away from some place where you can get food. Hopefully it's like a Ralph's or a Avon or something like that, where they have food loaded down with preservatives to keep it fresh for a little longer.
True, but how would you deal with the fact that other people are going to have very similar plans?
Well, on one hand, there is you'd like to believe that in certain crises people would cooperate and everything for the greater good, but anyone who's played Left 4 Dead with 3 other strangers knows that people are dicks in the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, that's true.
So you really have to basically be, you really kind of have to go a little crazy, and you just have to be more ruthless than the other guy, or be willing to.
So you can't really be afraid of pulling that trigger if you meet an infected person, or if one of your friends gets infected, you just got to go, "Sorry, bro." Bam.
Pretty much. I mean, what I would encourage more than actually thinking of it as a confrontation head on, like I would encourage people to practice being more elusive and stealthy about things.
That's true.
Because if you're the guy with the shotgun and you're blasting zombies left and right as you walk down the street, the zombies are going to start coming toward you because they can hear the noise. But if you can keep your wits about you, stay low, maybe take the side streets and a longer way around to get to where you're going, you reduce your chance of running into anything too horrible.
Now, what do you think would be worse, the zombies or the survivors who are running low on supplies and they start, like, looting and robbing everything?
No question, the people, because even if we say that there's, let's say, just for the sake of argument, that there's running zombies, which people have their arguments about that, but I think we're all in agreement that they're far more dangerous than the hobbling zombies.
Yes.
But even then, there's a certain amount of predictability there. It's like, they're basically like wild dogs. Like they're hungry and they're gonna get food wherever they can get it. People are a little more unpredictable in crisis situations, especially when they get bored, basically. There's a lot of people out there that, once they have enough Cheetos to get them through the week, they're going to start looking for ways to entertain themselves.
Yeah, and I mean, if Twitter goes dead, then holy shit, most people in Los Angeles are gonna start killing everyone else.
Exactly. Can you imagine, like, the average 13-year-old girl goes 3 days without Facebook?
She'd become a zombie herself.
Exactly, in a whole new way.
So let's say you have your location, you have it locked down, you can get steady supplies and stuff. Eventually you're gonna have to, you're gonna hope that the government or someone comes in and saves the day. But if they don't, what would be your exit strategy for Los Angeles? Like, where would you go?
Outside, I can't say Los Angeles invaded by zombies would be much different than Los Angeles not invaded by zombies. But I would say the key would be you definitely want to head to, well, there's arguments to be made either way. If you head down towards warmer climates, there's definitely more chance of, life being down there. You can probably grow crops or something if you moved way farther down to Mexico. True. But the converse argument is if you could mount up enough supplies and make your way north from here, which would be like San Francisco or past that, and get into Canada or rural Canada where it's much colder, obviously less chance of finding food, but also less chance of finding other people, and zombies would be a lot less mobile in more frigid climates. That opens up a whole new can of worms for yourself as to how you're going to get through the long, harsh winter.
That's true, but what do you think you would personally do?
Personally, I'd go for the warmer climate.
Just take your chances?
I'd just take my chances. I hate the snow. I'm not a winter kind of person, and you never know how far the infection is actually gone. A lot of germs, viral infections can't really survive more extreme temperatures either way. So that's an interesting thought process. I haven't heard anyone bring that up yet. So perhaps if you could get yourself towards the equator where it's 120 degrees in the shade, there might not be so much virus floating around, assuming this is an airborne kind of thing, or depending on how you want to go with it.
That's true. So let's we're running out of time here, so let me just ask the question that I always ask at the end here. If you were bit, what would you do?
Depending on where I was bit, I would probably, let's say I was bit in the arm or leg, something I thought I could do without, I'd probably try and sever the limb just to see what would happen.
Interesting. Most people haven't brought that up.
Well, you figure, it bodes, one, for my own survival, and you think, let's say if I get bitten, I'm right-handed, if I get bit in my left hand, maybe I can do without that hand. And if I get bit and I can sever the limb and I don't turn, then that bodes well for other people because I now have a rather painful and rudimentary way, but nonetheless an effective way of curing people. That's
interesting. That's a lot of food for thought, actually. And unfortunately, I hate to end it on that because that's just makes you think. So, but Chris, thank you very much for being on the show. It's definitely a pleasure having you.
Yeah, thank you.
And for all of you guys listening at home, check out Chris's web series, Semi-Dead. It's semi-dead.com, right, Chris?
Yeah, SEMI-DEAD.com.
Excellent. Great series, and I recommend it for any zombie fan out there. So anyway, this is Matt Jarbo for Zurvivalist. You guys can always find us at facebook.com/KZOM Radio. And the show is brought to you by Monsters vs. Monsters, a low-cost alternative to high-cost entertainment. And I'll see you guys next week on the show. Thanks.